Detroit may have been better suited than most cities for the rise of a label like Motown.
Detroit, like Chicago, was a kind of hotbed of black music, because a lot of those families moved up from the South, a decade or two before. There were good, well-paying factory jobs there in the automobile industry and in other industries as well. So there was a huge black population.
So what you begin to see in the 50s and 60s is a migration from gospel to rock and roll, pop and soul music. Berry Gordy recognized the talent in this city. He recognized people like Diana Ross.
To get a sense of the Detroit neighborhood that produced Motown, I went on a tour with Charlie Beckham, a Detroit city official and amateur Motown historian.
Detroit was residentially very segregated in the 1960s.
There were segregated neighborhoods. Business was segregated. This street, Hastings, as I say, where the freeway is now, was where all of the black businesses were, because they didn't have the choice. They couldn't go to other businesses, to white-owned businesses. You couldn't go to the white neighborhoods without a lot of trouble or a lot of hassle. So it forced the black community to create its own. And so Motown came out of that.
I discovered that almost all the original Motown artists lived within a few miles of the Hitsville studio, and their talents blossomed in this music-rich environment.
Diana Ross was born here.
Diana Ross was
born and raised here. Florence Ballard, Mary Wilson, not far from here, a little further on the east side.
I and Florence Ballard attended the same school, but we all lived in the same general location, which was the Brewster Projects. We had this wonderful community center that was called Brewster Center.
Brewster Wheeler Recreation Center. This was the hangout in the black community. Everybody came to Brewster Rec Center in those days to do their thing, and we closed it last year.
The music our generation listened to growing up defined and influenced us in countless ways. One record company in particular stood out for creating a sound which helped bridge the divide between black and white, Motown. And it all started in Detroit, a city known for its vibrant music scene and nightlife.
Detroit was very alive at that time with music. You had a lot of clubs and places where these musicians, great musicians, would moonlight and play it after hours. It was just a big part of the vibe in Detroit.
I'm on 12th Street. To give you a sense of location, Hitsville is about 2 blocks over there. Now, during the 1960s, this was the commercial and cultural epicenter of the black community. It's hard to imagine it now, but this street was lined with black businesses, all of which were burned down in the 1967 riots.